Okay, Chris Hemsworth, enough racing. It's time to take up your hammer for Asgard! Thor the Dark World, directed by Alan Taylor, who's directed some Game of Thrones episodes, and now he's taking up this movie, and he does a much better job than Kenneth Branagh did with the last film. I still think there were a couple of things that Kenneth Branagh did a little bit better, particularly with his pick for Vandroll, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So our plot is Jane Foster is in London and she finds this weapon called the Ether and gets infected with it. This awakens an old enemy named Malekith, who's the leader of the Dark Elves. He was beaten by Odin's father, Bor, I think his name was, and now he's back with his army of elves, and he wants to turn the world into darkness. And Thor has to stop him, so he takes Jane Foster to Asgard. He teams up with his brother Loki, and they gotta fight Malekith together. And this movie is awesome. It is more action-packed than the last one. It is not boring like the last one was. The last one was very boring. I really like the fact that this one's not boring. Loki and Thor have great chemistry in this film. I really did like that. Thor and Jane Foster, they have some pretty good chemistry in this film as well. Anthony Hopkins as Odin. He is great in this movie. I really did like that. Chris Eccleston as Malekith. He was a pretty good villain in this film. He mostly talks in subtitles, which is fine since he is with his own people and all. But sometimes that, I guess that kind of creates a disconnect between you and the villain. But I didn't mind it too much, obviously. And Renee Russo gets a bigger part in this movie. Frigga, Thor's mom, she gets a much bigger part, which I really did like. Heimdall, Idris Elba's character, does a really good job in this, getting a bigger role. And Lady Sif, Jamie Alexander, she kicks more butt in this movie. That's great. And let's talk about our Warriors 3. Volstagg, Ray Stevenson, great. Hogan, Tanabu Asano, excellent. Great to have him back. And Vandroll. In the previous movie, he was Josh Dallas, who I thought was excellent in the role. I really felt like he was the character, felt like he was very charming and good with the ladies. This new Vandroll, Zachary Levi, is blah. He is boring. He doesn't feel at all like the character. I don't know why they recasted him. Bring back the old Vandroll. Bring back Josh Dallas. I like him much better. He was a much better actor for this character than our new one is. He sucks. Zachary Levi, get rid of him. And Eric Selvig, let's talk about him. He was pretty good in the movie. I thought he was great. Stellan Skarsgård. And now let's talk about Darcy. Jar Jar Binks, basically. I hate her. Get rid of her. And her boyfriend. Have him go away, please, because I don't like her. Yes, Stanley cameo as always. That's great. And we have this new villain also, Curse, who I think is awesome. He's even better than Malekith, so that's good. Now, I mean, Loki is great as well. He's better in this movie than he was in the previous Thor movie, but hey, I like Curse also. And I want to talk about what I want to see in Thor 3. There are two villains I want to see in Thor 3. I want to see Amora the Enchantress, and I want to see Scourge, the Executioner. These two were a very big part of the Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes cartoon, and Amora was a very big part of Hulk vs. Thor. It just makes sense to me that these two villains should be Thor 3, so hopefully those two will be in there. And rating. This is the best comic book movie of the year, no doubt about it. 10 out of 10. Definitely check out Thor the Dark World. You don't need to really see it in 3D. It's fine in 2D. There are two scenes after the credits. So be sure to stay after all the credits to make sure you see both scenes. And that's all I gotta say for Thor the Dark World. For Asgard!